So what's really good is that you seem to have the trust that if I just react, that's what acting is. You know, acting is the ability to be a believable, honest person, and you're doing that very good, okay? So, but we also have to remember that acting is a two-step process of preparing and then executing. So kind of what happened is, and this is all new, but what happened was you kind of went right into the executing phase of the scene and didn't have enough prepared to execute. So, you ever play music or sports? Basketball? So it would be kind of like if I hopped onto the court and never trained and just started running around the court with a basketball, you know, and going, I'm good. And I just threw the ball, you know, and I just let go and I just went for it. And of course it doesn't go in the basket, but I'm really committed, you know, and you're like, you look like an idiot, what are you doing? You know, and I'm just like playing, but I haven't learned the moves yet. So kind of what's happening here is that there's a great executing of the scene where you're letting go and you're trusting the work, but we gotta just make sure that there's more built in the scene for you to execute. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah.
You sure? Okay. So we have to kind of figure out, like, for example, what is the point of the scene? Like, why did the author write the scene and what is it telling us about you too? So for example, Michelle, like, what is the scene telling us about you?
That I am like interested in his dad, and I don't really know how to go about talking to him about his dad and feeling very nervous.
Yeah. I mean, and you're so nervous that he even says, put us down for 4. You don't even know what he's talking about.
Yeah.
Right? And so that leads me, obviously, to believe that the cookie count had nothing to do with what you were approaching him.
For sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So it shows that you're totally into this guy and you're bumbling about it. You don't know how to deal with it. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah.
Yeah. What else does it tell us about you? Do we like you?
I think so.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do we think, and I haven't seen the show, is this a drama or a comedy, this show?
I think it's like a drama with comedic moments, I think. Yeah. I never really watched it, like most.
Have you ever seen it? So, what if we were to say there's something funny about the scene, what would be funny about it? What do you think is kind of funny about the scene, Sean?
The awkwardness.
Okay, so number 1, the awkwardness. Anything else?
Yeah.
Okay, anything else? I think also what's kind of funny to me is that the student seems a lot more calm than the teacher, which we would expect it to be the other way around, wouldn't we? You know, normally you would expect, you know, the teacher to be kind of the more confident, sort of grounded, calm, and the student to be the more nervous, right? But it seems almost inverted, and that kind of makes it a little bit amusing, right? What do you think the scene tells us about you? What kind of person he is and his behavior? If you were just to guess.
I guess a good student.
What?
A good student.
Okay, so he's a good student.
Right.
Okay.
Because the comments from the teacher.
Okay, so let's talk about that moment for a second. When she approaches you, and don't you say something like, I really liked your paper? Okay, so how do you feel when she says, I really liked your paper?
Like it's random?
Well, it's great. Okay, so it would be like me saying to you, Sean, your acting is fucking amazing today. Hey, by the way, is your mom picking you up today? And you say, yeah? Okay, cool, awesome. What time's she gonna be here? And it's almost like I had no interest in your acting. Do you understand? So there is something amusing about her saying how great your paper was, but then it kind of goes into this other thing, which has to do with your dad. So I think part of the fun of the scene is you accepting the compliment and then being kind of let down, like, gosh, you know, like, again? Like, I thought she really liked my paper. Maybe she does. But it seems like it's not just about the paper, that she waited for me to talk to me about it. Do you follow what I'm telling you?
Yeah.
So Okay, so it sounds to me like your character's smart. It sounds like your character is fed up with having to deal with this kind of stuff with your dad. All the girls fawning over your dad all the time, the teachers and the students. It feels to me like another thing is that you're kind of tired of dad always getting the attention.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
You don't have to agree, I'm just asking.
No, but I could definitely see that happening. With
Yeah.
My character.
Uh-huh. And so we have two nuts and bolts that we use in this class that you'll hear me talk a lot more about, which is an objective and an emotion. Okay? So an objective is what your character wants in the scene. It's what he's trying to accomplish, what he needs in the scene.
Mm-hmm.
So in the very beginning, when you're kind of walking up here and you see the teacher waiting,
Mm-hmm.
what is it that you're trying to do? What would be your objective is what you want, what you're actually attempting to get. What do you think?
An answer. Yeah.
Get an answer. Okay. So we could say, for example, maybe your objective is just to figure out what she wants.
Mm-hmm.
So like when you kind of walk up and she's kind of like waiting there all eager, you're kind of like, hey, like what's going on? You all right? And she's like, hi, and you're going, hi. And she says, I really liked your paper. And so at that point, when she says, I really liked your paper, how do you feel at that point? Happy, right? So what do you want at that point maybe is almost to stay calm because you're so happy. Does that make sense?
Right.
So we have objectives that can be changed with new information that rolls along to change it. So in the very beginning, you don't know what she wants. And then she says the thing about the paper. And so that's new information. So your objective, what you want in the scene, changes at that point from to figure it out or to make sense to stay calm because you're so happy about the paper.
Yeah.
Yeah?